guys got to pay attention here. Online banking safety tips. Like I've mentioned, this unit, and some of their unit too, the 11s, it isn't all numbers. And actually, this is practical stuff. Online banking. I rarely go to a bank now to do anything in person. It's the way you do it. And I know some of you have. Liam, when's the last time you went into a bank? Because you have a bank account. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but as the ATM that you used, yeah. You rarely bank in person. You have to open an account in person usually. There's a few things. If you're taking out a mortgage or something like this, big loans, you have to do that in person usually. But actually, after the pandemic, you can even do online meetings now and stuff for a lot of this stuff. Anyways, most of your banking will be done online. Convenient, efficient, and you need it safe on the internet though. Here's some tips. And remember, this is old and technology changes every year, so never log in to your bank site through a link in an email, even if it appears to come from your bank. You got to just type in the web address on your own. Here's why. Like, I don't know if you already have gotten these and you don't even have you don't have a bank account. Have you ever gotten a like warning, your account is overdue kind of email and you know for sure? Okay. Online scams, it sometimes looks like it's from the Royal Bank or something. I've gotten ones from banks I don't bank with and stuff like this. You know what I mean? I know it's a scam for sure. Don't, it's called phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N. And they just send out millions of these emails, hoping that one person in 100,000 is going to click on this and think that they have overdue fees and pay them through their link. And it's not the actual TD Bank or the Royal Bank. And it's not just that. There's other phishing emails like with Netflix, your account is overdue. I actually don't have a Netflix account, so I know for sure it is. I'm going to pause this and just double check something with Greg. Next thing, the login process or the login pages of bank websites are secured through encryption. There's usually a padlock that should appear in your browser window when accessing your bank site. The beginning of your bank's internet address will change from HTTP to a little S behind it when a secure connection is made. Now, nowadays with phones, you can't see that. That's using the computer. You could see that usually. And just a second here, I'll pause again to official. Okay. So that secure log. Be wary of unexpected or suspicious looking pop-ups during your online bank. And stop and think about the process you normally go through to make a payment to someone. Be suspicious if it differs from the last time you used it. Okay? Because there is a lot, well, there's money in it for crooks, online scammers. Check online banking security options your bank provides. Some offer free antivirus and browser security. One of my bank account things that I do actually, I always have it opens it up in a protected browser, totally different from the other. Log in and check your bank statements regularly. Make sure there aren't things that you didn't charge. That's especially true when you get a credit card someday. Do you have a credit card, anyone? I think no, you didn't. Okay. Anyways, once you have a credit card, it can be used nowadays with tap and go too. If somebody actually stole a card of yours, bank card or whatever, usually there's a limit on your tap. But I mean, good grief. You can still blow a lot of money, $100 at a time, right? Keep an eye on your bank accounts. I got to stop the cough drop. When sending money, always double check the amount you're sending as well as the account number and codes or anything. And this, I bet you, was created before people started. You can text someone or e-transfer someone money nowadays. Make sure you know who you're sending it to. You got the phone number entered in right and stuff like this. You e-transfer at all? Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Usually there's a security question. If you ever put it in the wrong phone number somehow, goofy or something like this, make sure it's a security question that not any random stranger would know. Don't just say the city we live in or something like Regina. That's pretty easy for a stranger to guess. it was something like my father's name, that only people who knew you would know, right? Albert or whatever it is. Fraudsters, sometimes they just say things like it's just a test and then we'll transfer it back to you. Make sure your bank has up-to-date contact details too. If you move, change phone numbers. Make sure they know. Never give anyone login details in full by either email or over the phone. Your bank will never request these. So nowadays, without landlines, phone contact is a lot less than it used to. But email has gone way up. Garbage email, spam. Browsers come with security features. Be aware of them. Keep your PIN and passwords confidential. Don't tell your girlfriend, don't tell your parents, don't tell a brother or a sister even, right? Make it a password and a PIN number that you can remember and not have to write down. Why? Because your sister might find it. Who knows what, right? Nobody else should know but you. I'm not saying someone's brother or sister is untrustworthy, but I mean, fewer people who know it, the better. One person should know it, you. So what you guys are going to do is a few things like this. Three things you can do to be safe while using online or mobile banking. Mobile is the way it's going. Yes. Two things you should do if you suspect that someone has accessed your accounts. What do you guys think if you think there's some kind of weird charges on here? Yeah, you need to excuse. Yeah. What's your first thing? You'd phone who? The bank. And if you ever get a spam email, don't phone the one on that email. Look it up independently, because sometimes they'll give you the wrong number on purpose so that you phone the crooks and they say, oh yeah, this is right. I need you to know that, and I need you to see it in writing too, things like that. And then something called writing checks. The odd time you will still nowadays write checks, but it's getting rare. But or if you know somebody old, they might want a check. Grandma or grandpa or someone their age, someone in their 70s or 80s. They know how to work with checks. Okay? And I think you've seen checks before, right? For example, someone owes you $50, they can write you a check. And it's their agreement that they'll pay you $50. You can accept a check, or nowadays, though, most likely you get an e-transfer. If it's cash, too, you know for sure it works, right? Many people think that banks can intervene if you have a problem with a check, but not always the case. Check may be cashed by the person to whom it's written unless the person signs it over to another person or business. It's getting less and less common all the time. And businesses don't tend to want checks anymore. You can't go to Safeway and buy groceries with a check anymore. It used to, but not nowadays. I don't see people doing it. Maybe old people still get away with it. When depositing a check into your bank account, it takes a few days. You guys might receive checks, especially if you start a job and the payroll department didn't receive your online banking instructions yet. They will usually issue a paper check. I know this has happened to my kids when they started a job. Their first one was a paper check, and it's like, oh crap, here we go. And then there's ways to do it. Sometimes I have to do it in person, or if you have mobile banking set up, nowadays you can actually take a picture of the front and the back of the check. Okay? Takes 6 months. You got 6 months to cash a check. After that, they say it's stale dated. So if you misplaced a paycheck from your job, you find it 8 months later, half a year later, you're just, like, you got half a year to do this. You might have to just kind of beg and like, sorry, McDonald's, I didn't cash that check. Can it be reissued? They cancel that one. Double check that it really wasn't cashed. Then reissue one. The main thing is if you get a check, just get it cashed as soon as possible. It's money. I think you need it. And if you wrote somebody a check and they didn't cash it, make sure to put a stop payment on that old one so that they can't cash both checks. Sometimes there's fraudulent things and they change some of the handwriting to change the dates, something like that too, to make it improperly to cash it. Stuff like this. Okay, for checks though, when you do this, you need to know numbers in words. This is actually important. Now, if you got this wrong, I think they'd still do it, but the proper way to write 45 is 40-5. So 53, 50-3, the word. 99 with a dash in between. And is used for the decimal point. So you would not write $706. Or I mean, you would write $706. You would not say 706. You don't need it. But the and comes before, and there's usually a fraction line at the end. You probably will write a few checks, but way less than I ever have. This is not the way things are done very often. You write a check, fill in 5 items. Notice the placement of each item on the blank check sheet. The date. That's for the date. The name of the person who's received this. Paid to the order of, Axe, Smith. The amount written in digits, so you'd have your $88. Then the amount in words, and you put 8. 8. 0, 0. And then your signature. And then you don't have to do this, but I usually do by writing a check. I'll say it's for hockey fees, whatever, school fees, registration, things like that. Additional points. Don't leave blank areas in your check. So, if I say $88 I have here, I do this. Before it, then I put a line, and I put a line here, and then I put it there. Why? Because somebody squeezed in $188. They might try to cash it in at the same time. Check isn't legal until you sign it. The check's in a safe place, ready to use them, but never sign a blank check. And somebody could just fill in all the other details, whatever. Make sure the amount box and the amount line and the words and numbers match. Check won't be cashed. You make a mistake when writing the check, write void in big letters across the check action. Oh, well, that's because do that. And then you have a register, you make sure that the 25th check is going to check. That's important. Oh, well, let's just discuss this and then you guys can jot these things down. Okay, 4 of you. Why would it be important to use ink, not a pencil? Writing a check. Yeah, it can't be erased and then replaced with larger amounts, right? What are some disadvantages of using a check compared to others? What do you guys think? You guys have never used checks. It's not really the way of the world anymore, so there must be a lot of disadvantages compared to, they're very rarely used now. Yeah, and I think it's a little more safe and secure. It can't be misplaced easily, all kinds of things. Checks can be misplaced in your house, stuff like that. Just all kinds of things. I think checks, like I say, less and less all the time, Describe a situation where someone would use a check and why a check would make sense in this situation. What do you guys think? Because it's getting harder and harder to think of a situation where I'd have to use a check. Anyone? What do you guys think? Number one reason why I think I'd have to use a check is because I'm talking to an old person. Serious. Someone my mom's age might not like computer banking and stuff, and they want old-fashioned checks. Every once in a while, there are things where I can think of some things where they take a check from you for a hold, and they say, we won't cash this check, but we'll hold on to it. And then when you return this thing, we'll rip up the check or return the check to your hand. It's just a safety thing. That's getting less and less. There are some businesses that do trust checks and want checks too. I know that when I bought a house, and this was like 2.5 years ago, they took a check first for just like a little small deposit when we made a bid on the house, personal check, that kind of thing. But less and less that we're using checks. Then, ask your teacher how many of these you should. Write the dollars amounts in words using the rules for check writing. I want you to do those. 56, 235, 235, not with the word and. This one is 200 and then n, 39 out of 100. Take a look back at the check thing, that page, and get it out. Because actually, that's a useful skill. Then, write the check below with the following information. Fill in the blanks here. See what you can do. Another check to write. I want you to do all of these. Checks to write. And then you're done. Because this is just like, this is what I look at after that. Can you identify various bank services and stuff? Okay. So, there you go. Finish this booklet off. It's another easy booklet. You notice the Math 11s are just finishing their first booklet. You guys are finishing your second one. Yours are shorter and easy.